Good morning everyone. Welcome to the English class. How are you all doing today? So in the previous class, we learned the story, The Magical Shoes. Today we'll see the exercises from the chapter. So before we move on to the exercise part, I suggest you read the story once again and then come back to the exercises. So I hope we have read the story once again. Now let's move on to the exercise part, the section A. Section A is tick the correct answer to complete each sentence. And you are given 3 options for each question there. You have to go through the question, tick the correct option from there. You do this as an activity now. Please pause this video, finish doing the first 3 questions and then come back. Hope you are done with the questions. Now let's discuss the answers. The first one, Mary was sad because she thought she could not dance well. And the second one is, grandmother gave a pair of pretty silver shoes to Mary. And the third one is, Mary was able to dance because she became confident. I hope you got the answers correct. Now let's move on to section B. It's answer these questions. You may note down the questions and answers in your notebook. Let's see the first question. What would happen when Mary tried to dance? So what would happen when Mary tried to dance? When Mary tried to dance, something always went wrong. If she smiled sweetly, her legs wouldn't move, and if her legs moved to the beat, her smile would disappear. So this is what used to happen whenever Mary was trying to dance. Now let's move on to question number 2. Why did Mary want to keep the silver shoes? Mary wanted to keep the silver shoes because on wearing them, she had become the best dancer in the class and she thought she would stop dancing if she returned them. So that's why she wanted to keep the silver shoes. Now let's move on to the third question. Were the shoes really magical? Support your answer with reference to the text. So were they really magical? What did her grandmother say? Let's see the answer. The shoes were not magical. They were ordinary shoes. Grandma had bought them for her from the market. So this is already mentioned in the story itself. Now let's move on to the next section, section C. Find words from the story that mean the same as. You're given 4 words there. You have to find the words from the story which mean the same as the words given here. Now you can do this as an activity. Please pause this video, find the words from the story and then come back. Hope you are done with that exercise. Now let's discuss the answers. The first one, vanish. See, there is a line in the story. If she smiled sweetly, her legs wouldn't move and the smile would disappear from her face if her legs moved to the beat. So the word disappear is the word which means the same as vanish. Now the next one is attractive, and there is a line in the story. One day she called Mary to her room and gave her a pair of pretty silver shoes. So the word pretty is the one which means the same as attractive. Now the next one is sparkled. So the line, Mary's eyes twinkled as she took the shoes. So the word twinkled is the one which means sparkled. So the fourth one, faith. So there is this line, all you needed was a little confidence in yourself. So that word confidence is the one which means the same as faith in the story. Now let's move on to the next section. It is the vocabulary section and it's about countable and uncountable nouns. So we have already learned about these types of nouns. So what do you mean by a noun? A noun can be the name of a person, place, a thing, an event, a quality or quantity, etc. And nouns can be countable or uncountable. So what do you mean by countable nouns? Countable nouns are those which can be counted or qualified with numbers. And they have singular and plural forms. For example, you can say 1 apple or 2 apples. Apple is singular, whereas apples is plural. And you see the words 1 and 2. So these words show the number of apples. So the noun apple is a countable noun. You have a couple more examples here. 1 table, 3 tables, 1 pencil, 10 pencils. You see how these nouns are accompanied with numbers, which shows the count of them. Now, what are uncountable nouns? These are nouns which cannot be counted or quantified with numbers. For example, we say a pinch of salt. We don't say 10 grains of salt. We say a spoon of honey, and we say a piece of furniture. So the nouns such as salt, honey, furniture are all examples of uncountable nouns. So here in this exercise, in the vocabulary section, you are given a question from section A. Complete these phrases by adding uncountable nouns. One has been done for you. So the first one, a bowl of rice. So rice is a noun. It's an uncountable noun. And you have 5 more questions given there. 5 more phrases given there. You have to add a proper uncountable noun to them so that the phrase makes sense. You can use a dictionary to complete this exercise, and if needed, get help from your parents. So you do this one as an activity. Please pause this video, finish categorizing the words into countable and uncountable nouns, and complete the table, then come back. Hope you are done with that activity. Now let's see the words. So the countable nouns are cot, mug, pen, bird and dish. The uncountable ones from the list are honey, coffee, cotton, sugar and water. So once again, countable ones are the ones which can be counted or quantified with numbers, and uncountable nouns are those which cannot be quantified or counted with numbers, and instead of numbers, we use a few measuring words to represent their quantity. Like when you say a spoonful of honey, you are using the measuring word a spoonful of. Or when you say a pinch of salt shows the quantity of salt. So those are called measure words. So that was about the countable and uncountable nouns. Now let's move on to the next section of exercise. It's grammar part. Now this section, it's about conjunctions. You have already learned about conjunctions. What do you mean by a conjunction? A conjunction is a word that joins 2 sentences or different parts of a sentence. For example, words such as and, but, so, for or because are all examples of conjunctions. Now in this section, the first question is join these pairs of sentences using and, but, so, for and or. The first question is he put on his shoes, then he went out of the house. I'll tell you this one as an example. He put on his shoes and went out of the house. So we have joined the 2 sentences using the word and. Now it's a single sentence. So when you joined the 2 sentences, the word he was omitted, the full stop was also omitted. Now it is he put on his shoes and went out of the house. Similarly, use the other words also, but, so, for and or to combine the rest of the sentences. You do this as an activity now. Please pause this video, complete the sentences and then come back. Hope you are done with the exercise. Now let's see the second question. Rohan lost his watch. He did not lose his wallet. So how can we combine them? We can combine the 2 sentences as Rohan lost his watch but did not lose his wallet. We omitted this full stop and the word he from here, and we joined it with but. Now the third one, Meena is going swimming, Tina is going swimming. So how can we combine these? Both are doing the same thing, and hence we can combine this as Meena and Tina are going swimming. Did you notice this? Meena is going swimming. The first sentence, the subject here, Meena, is a singular subject, so it is going. And there Tina is going swimming. There also it's singular subject, so it is going. So when you combine these 2 sentences, it became Meena and Tina are going. Why? Because here there are more than one person. The subject is plural, so it is are going instead of is going. I hope this is clear to you. So the fourth one, it is very warm, the sun is shining. How can we combine this? We can combine the sentences like it is very warm, for the sun is shining. Here the conjunction for has the meaning like because. So it says The day is very warm because the sun is shining. It is very warm for the sun is shining. So the fifth question, we could go and play, we could watch a film. So these two sentences represent choices, either this one or the other one. So how can we combine them? We could go and play or watch a film. Now, the sixth one. The sailor saw a man drowning. He jumped into the sea to save him. So how can we combine this? The sailor saw a man drowning, so he jumped into the sea to rescue him. Hope this is clear to you. Let's move on to the next section of exercise. This one you can do as a homework. Let me read the question to you. Make as many sentences as possible about ants by joining the sentences in columns A and B. Use the conjunctions given in the middle. One has been done for you. So you please look into your textbook. You can see a table. There is column A and column B. In column A, you can see a few sentences. And in the middle, you can see conjunctions so, and but. And in column B, you have a few other sentences or parts of sentences. Now you have to combine column A and column B with the conjunctions given in the middle. So for example, when you say ants are tiny insects and they live in colonies, you have a complete sentence there after joining them with the conjunction and. So similarly, you have to combine the other sentences with the sentences in column B or phrases in column B to make meaningful sentences. And you can write down the completed sentences in your notebook. You do this as a homework. Let's discuss the next section. Circle the correct option. So the first question, you can see two choices are given within the brackets. You have to circle the correct option. So the first one, I kept quiet, so I had no excuse to give, or is it I kept quiet because I had no excuse to give? It is I kept quiet because I had no excuse to give. So like this, you have to choose the correct option for the other sentences as well. You do this as an activity now. Please finish the exercise and come back. Hope you are done with the exercise. Now let's discuss the answers. The first one we have already discussed. I kept quiet because I had no excuse to give. The second one, I asked them to leave for I was very tired. It means I asked them to leave because I was very tired. And the third one, she was hungry, so I gave her a loaf of bread. So I hope you got this one correct. Let's see the next one. I stayed up late for I had to complete the painting. Now, Vinay got the award because his poem was the best. I hope you got all the choices correct. Let's move on to the next section. It is speaking. It's about sharing ideas. This one also you can do as a homework. Let me read the question to you. What would you do if you found a magical object? Would you share it with others or keep it for yourself? Share your thoughts with the class. So in the story, The Magical Shoes, we saw how the beautiful little girl, the ballerina, Mary, got a pretty pair of silver shoes from her grandma, and how she was able to dance gracefully when she wore them. So here in this question, you're asked to imagine that you got a magical object. What would you do with it? Would you share it with others or would you keep it for yourself? Would you tell about it to anyone? What would you do with it? It can be anything, any magical object. So spark your imagination. You can talk about it to your parents or your siblings or your friends. You can even record that and send us through Teams. So this is going to improve your speaking skills. Now let's move on to the next section. It's writing. It's about diary entry. So you have already done a few examples of diary entries in your previous lessons. This one, let me read the question to you. Imagine you are Mary and have just received the magical shoes. Write a diary entry about it. You could include these points in your writing. How you felt before getting the shoes, what grandma said while giving the shoes to you, how surprised and excited you were, what you felt after trying them on, and your hopes as a dancer now that you have the shoes. So how do you write a diary entry? First you put the date, you write the date, then you give the greeting, you write the greeting, then you write about all the events that happened on that day. You have already done a few examples of these in your previous lessons. Here in this textbook, enough space is provided to write the diary entry. You can do this as a homework. So children, that was the chapter, the magical shoes and the exercises from the chapter. I hope this was clear to you. So that's all for today. We'll meet in the next class with a new chapter. Till then, bye.